Today, as we speak, the UN opens its high-level conference on counter-terrorism. The Secretary General will speak, ministers will speak, and counter-terrorism chiefs will gather. Everyone will talk about fighting terror. But when Israel actually fights terror, we are being condemned for that. That is hypocrisy. We have lived the consequences of terror. Today, in that conference, Rachel Goldberg-Polin will address the conference. She will speak as a mother whose son Hersh was taken hostage by Hamas and murdered in a terror tunnel in Gaza. This council should listen to Rachel Goldberg-Polin, should listen to the victims of terror, listen to the country fighting terror day and night.
My name is Rachel, and I will always be the mother of Hersh Goldberg-Polin. Hersh will always be my eldest child. Hersh will always be my only son. And Hersh will always be 23 years old. On October 7, 2023, Hersh, both an American and Israeli civilian, was attending the Nova Music Festival in Israel with almost 4,000 others. On that sunny morning, 364 of those attendees were massacred. It was a gathering that had been advertised as being for unity, love, and peace. When terrorists attacked the festival, Hersh and 27 other young music lovers ran for cover to a roadside bomb shelter. Terrorists came to the doorway of that 8-foot by 5-foot structure and threw in hand grenades, one of which blew off Hersh's left dominant arm. The terrorists sprayed machine gun fire into that tiny room, killing 18 of those young people immediately. Hersh and 3 other young men were wounded badly and unable to hide under the dead bodies as others were doing. They were ordered out of the shelter and onto a pickup truck. We have horrific video footage of this. It is something no parent would ever want to see of their child. They were stolen, driven away deep into Gaza. Immediately, my husband John and I began a twisted, tormented, miserable odyssey that I would not wish on anyone, not on anyone. We ran to the ends of this world, beseeching, begging, pleading, reasoning, and appealing to every person of power and influence that we could. We spoke to heads of state, prime ministers, foreign ministers, presidents, the Pope, the Red Cross, world leaders at the World Economic Forum in Davos. We met with many of you in this building at the United Nations, both here in New York and in Geneva. We did what every single one of you would have done for your child, and what every single one of your parents would have done for you. The hostages taken on October 7th represented 28 nations. The hostages taken on October 7th were Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists. And yet, because there were no protocols in place to immediately implement for when a hostage crisis occurs, those 251 precious souls became part of a macabre game. Pawns. We families were game pieces. We grew to know it. We still are. There was leverage, but it was not used, and therefore it was not leverage. Creative and clear options were not actualized. Perhaps there were larger interests and equities eclipsing this global humanitarian crisis in the mini. I have learned that 99% of us are sheep. Me too. I am a sheep. But we sheep thirst for trusted shepherds to keep us safe. On day 330, after 11 months, Hersh was returned to us in a black bag with handles. Hersh was emaciated, having been starved. He was 6 feet tall, 1.83 meters, and he weighed 109 pounds, 50 kilo. He was bearing scars of torture. He had one hand. He was filthy. The coroner estimated he had not bathed in months. He had 6 bullet wounds in his scarred and sacred body, and his hair was covered in gunpowder from the shots being fired right onto his skin. We buried our only son, Hersh, our forever boy, in the ground 8 kilometers from our home. I am not unique. There are millions of parents who have buried their children. It is horrific, tragic, and forever shatteredness that will accompany each of us until it is our time to meet our Maker. In war and conflict, there is no competition among innocent civilians on all sides, of whose tears are the saltiest. We all suffer. We all failed the hostages. I include myself. I include you. I include humanity. In the beginning of the Bible in Genesis, after Cain murders his brother Abel, God asks, "Where is your brother?" Cain answers, "Am I my brother's keeper?" I am here to tell you, yes, I am. You are. We all are. God replies to Cain's disrespectful response, saying, "Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Now is the time for action. Talking is lovely, but words that are empty and without movement are just breath. In this world, we are not what we say. We are not what we think, and we are not even what we believe. In this world, we are what we do. So do. Until we enact immediate protocols and codes of conduct, we will be passive accomplices to what is to come. Woe be to all of us, children of God, our brothers' keepers.